first time me doing this, and this is going to be an educational channel based on traditional Okinawan Karate. So I want to introduce myself a little bit before I get started. My name is Renee, and I have approximately about 16 years in traditional Okinawan Karate, and my style is Shorei Kempo. I'm basically seventh generation from the father of American Karate, which is Robert A. Trias, and he started the first school of karate in the United States back in 1946. So, I mean, I feel really privileged that I came from that type of lineage, and I feel honored to be able to do this. This is my first time doing this, so if you see that I get stuck on something, or if I'm thinking, just try to bear with me as I try to clear my thoughts and I try to explain things like that, because I'm not very experienced. I guess what I hope to accomplish from this is that I see a lot of styles out there that are very Americanized. I see a lot of styles that are based on more like money than actually based on the traditional types of teachings that came from the Far East. And that kind of triggered me a little bit because I really don't think it's right. I think whenever you mix money into something, you know, it really loses its purity, it loses its essence. So the purpose of this YouTube channel is strictly educational. So I'm hoping that a lot of you guys out there who are aspiring to practice some form of karate really get a lot out of this. So then let's get started. So the first thing that I want to be able to do is I want to be able to teach you guys what is basically the preparatory stance in karate. What do we do? What do we do exactly when we come in and we're about to start a class? Well, the first thing that we have to do is we have to talk about stances. So the way that we prepare for a training stance, which is called kibarachi, is like so. So I'm basically standing here, and then what I do is I'm putting my hand here, and I'm pretending that there's an opponent here, and basically my hand is his chin. So I strike a back fist here, I throw a front kick to the groin, and then pull in deep, nice and empties. Notice that my stance is a little bit deep. In Shorei Kempo, which is my style, we have traditional low stances. So I want to make sure that my feet are equally apart, my toes are pointing forward, that there is a fold, a bend in my knees, and my empties are all the way in. Basically, when I say empty, that's the Japanese term for elbow. And notice that my empty is up here, close by my armpits. It's not down here. Why is it up here? It's up here because when I throw punches or I'm throwing blocks, the shortest distance between A and B is a straight line. So if I throw a punch here, this is going to be a lot more straight, and it feels a lot more stronger than it does if I'm doing this. This feels awkward to me. This doesn't feel right. But this here feels right. This feels right. This feels correct. And that's how come we have our empties nice and high here. So this is my kibarachi. The first block that I want to teach you guys is going to be the down block. So basically, I'm coming to my ear, I'm coming down, and then I'm throwing a seiken punch. I'm coming to my ear, coming down, and throwing a seiken punch. So I'm going to do 5 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's your basic down block and your punch. Notice that my hips move a little bit. Later on, I'm going to talk about the principles of power. And one of the reasons that my hips move is because I want to generate more power. So if I throw my hip into it, that's going to generate a lot more power, right? And the same thing with the punch. When I'm throwing punches, I want to make sure I'm using my hip. Another thing that you heard is my breath. It's a sound. And that's very important. That actually coincides with a ki, okay? You want to be able to use a breath because you inhale energy and you exhale energy. So at the end of that punch, you want to make sure your breath is on point. It's okay? But if I'm in a fight, then I know I'm going to throw a ki. It's going to be right? So that's what we want to be able to do. That's why you're hearing these things. These are principles of power that I'm going to be delving into a little bit later on in more of an instructional type setting. So that's my down block right there. So now I'm going to go to my inside block. My inside block comes down to the knee here and then comes in like so. And then I throw a seiken punch. Same thing here. Inside block, seiken punch. Inside block, seiken punch. So I'm going to do 5 of those. Okay? that's the inside block. Now, as far as the outside block, my fist is going to come to my left ear, okay? And it's going to look like this. Have to pay attention to form because that's another principle of power. And I'm going to throw 5 of those. And finally, I'm going to go ahead and throw a rising block with a Seiken punch. Again, that comes rising like so, and a Seiken punch. So it looks like this. I'm going to throw 5 of those. Okay, so that's my basic Kibarachi stance. That's my basic 4 basic blocks and a Seiken punch. Okay, so guys, so just to emphasize, the reason you guys saw like a lot of hip action, because that's a principle of power. Okay, that's very important. You don't want to become an arm puncher. You don't want to become a leg kicker. You want to be able to wind and crank that hip. Okay, that's what's going to give you power. This is not going to give you anything. It's not going to do anything. There's no power in there. Okay, you're strictly an arm puncher, and if you're in a fight, you're going to lose. So you have to make sure you crank that hip. It's boom, boom, boom. Okay. So now what I'm going to teach you is I'm going to go through some basic stances. Okay. You've just learned Kibarachi. Now you're going to learn left zen and right zen. So left zen is very simple. It's like so. Again, you want to make sure your toes are pointing forward. You want to make sure you have a bend at the knee. You want to make sure your back leg is straight. Okay, that's left zen. Okay, if I go into right zen, I move just like that. I come here and here. It's like my foot's just grazing across the grass. Okay, it's not like this. Okay, it's just grazing across, like so. Like so. Okay, that's right zen and left zen. Okay, now the other stance is Kokutsudachi. This is a little bit more trickier because you're kind of standing in the form of an L, and your weight is kind of set back a little bit, but you're balanced. So basically, it's very simple. It's my left leg is pointing there, my right leg is pointing this way. So both my legs are pointing in a perpendicular format, okay, and that's Kokutsudachi. I have to have a bend here, and I have to have a slight bend in my forward leg, okay? Same thing if I do this with my right leg back and my left leg forward. Notice that my toe here, my foot, is pointing towards the wall, and this foot over here is pointing directly towards the camera, so it's an L, okay? And that's Kokutsudachi. Now, how do we move in karate, like when we're sparring and things of that nature? And how do I implement punches and blocks and things of that nature? Okay, so let's say if I take a traditional left zen stance, okay, and if I want to move, throwing a down block with a Seiken punch, it's very simple. I come here, I make sure that my hand comes to my ear, and down. Here and down. Okay, I'll do about 3 of those. I'm going to start left zen. Okay, so that's basically how we move. When we're sparring, we modify it a little bit. We don't take the traditional stances because we have to be mobile. But as we're standing very low, it strengthens our legs. And as we're standing a little bit higher when we're sparring, it enables us to move a lot quicker, kind of like a boxer. A boxer does the same thing. He has to strengthen his legs. He knows that without a strong foundation, he's not going to be able to stand. Okay? So that's basically our basic stances, our basic blocks, and our basic punches. Okay, so I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Thank you very much. If you like it, please subscribe. I would appreciate you guys following me because I'm thinking that I have a lot of knowledge to share. And that's what YouTube is about. It's about sharing knowledge, right? And I'm hoping that you guys can become better martial artists as a result. My next video, I'm going to be doing some basic stances with some kicks. So again, guys, thanks a lot for watching.